Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're going to take the mysterious, sometimes incredibly frustrating YouTube Shorts algorithm and turn it into a super clear, actionable roadmap for your channel's growth. Because, let's be honest, if you've ever felt like your content just suddenly hit an invisible brick wall for no apparent reason, well, you are definitely not alone. We're breaking down the exact mechanics behind this algorithm today, using real data so we can completely stop guessing and actually start growing. Okay, let's jump right into it. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover number 1, escaping zero-view jail. 2, the 30K view jail. 3, decoding your trust score. 4, the metrics that matter. 5, the viral honeymoon phase. And finally 6, winning in your niche. This is the exact step-by-step chronological path to take a brand new channel from literally 0 views all the way to full monetization. So, you know the feeling? Why do your shorts suddenly flatline? If your analytics graph looks like a slow start, maybe a sudden exciting spike, and then just an absolute soul-crushing flatline, I want you to know it's not random at all. YouTube is actually putting your content through a highly structured testing phase. And to understand how to ace that test, we really have to start at the very beginning of a channel's lifecycle. All right, part 1, escaping zero-view jail, or basically proving you aren't a bot. Now, the very first step in our journey isn't actually about making a masterpiece of a video. It's way simpler. It's just about proving to the algorithm that you are a real human being. If your view count is sitting at literally 0, you're in what we call zero-view jail. This just means YouTube reviews your new account, realizes there's no basic data there, and decides, this seems untrustworthy. They're not going to push your shorts to anyone because, frankly, they suspect you might be an automated bot designed to spam people. They have to protect the viewer experience above everything else. But to break out of 0 views and prove you're legit, there's an exact sequence you need to hit. First, use an aged channel if you've got one. Second, connect an older email account, something with a bit of history behind it. But most importantly, and guys, this is the absolute make or break step, you must enable third-level feature eligibility in your channel settings. Usually this just takes a quick video or ID verification, but the second you do it, it instantly signals to YouTube that you're a real person ready to post actual good content. Moving right along to part 2, the 30K view jail and finding your perfect seed audience. 30,000. This is kind of the magic number in the Shorts algorithm. Once you start posting and YouTube finally trusts you're a human, they'll push your videos out to a seed audience of exactly 30,000 people. And the purpose here is pretty straightforward. YouTube is using those 30,000 impressions to start building really detailed data profiles on both you, the creator, and the viewers. Every single short you post gets shown to a different group of 30,000 people, as the algorithm frantically tries to figure out who your perfect audience actually is. Now, a lot of creators get super frustrated and complain about being stuck in the 30K view jail, but actually, scratch that. We need to completely reframe how we look at this. Remember, 0 view jail means YouTube thinks you're a spam bot, but hitting the 30K view jail, that actually means your content is good. YouTube likes it. They just need more data to figure out exactly who to serve it to next. Once that initial seed audience responds well, bam, your next upload gets pushed to a much wider audience. It's a stepping stone, guys, not a punishment. Which brings us to section 3, decoding your trust score, the invisible algorithmic currency. All of this active data gathering from those seed audiences directly feeds into the single most important hidden concept on the platform, your trust score. I want you to think of the trust score as your literal bank account with the algorithm. It measures how much YouTube trusts that when they push your videos out, people will actually stick around to watch them and, make the platform money. If you have low trust, YouTube does some very simple math. They're just going to push out someone else's content instead of wasting valuable viewer attention on you. So the big question is, how do you actually build up this invisible currency? Well, as you post more, your monthly audience slowly grows because your shorts are constantly testing those different 30,000 person seed audiences. Your trust score skyrockets when you manage to convert those brand new viewers into casual and eventually regular viewers. That's a massive signal for YouTube. And to do this quickly, like to grow as fast as humanly possible, you've got to be uploading every single day to constantly feed the algorithm fresh data. That daily grind is literally what fills up your algorithmic bank account. All right, section 4, the metrics that matter, or how to engineer the perfect viewer graph. But how exactly does YouTube decide if a piece of content is actually good enough to expand beyond that initial 30K test group? Well, the data couldn't be clearer. The algorithm focuses on retention way more than any other stat. In fact, Perfect retention is so incredibly powerful, it can essentially save a short even if engagement is totally tanking. When it comes to shorts, retention is the undisputed king. To win here, you must actively engineer your content to follow a few absolute core rules. You've got to keep that viewer graph as flat as possible, you got to keep it as high as possible, and crucially, you have to get that initial dip right at the beginning to be as small as possible. Now sure, engagement can occasionally save a video with mediocre stats, but listen closely. You must avoid spammy call to actions. Begging for subscribers in the first 3 seconds, it's not just annoying to the viewer, it's literally against YouTube's policies. Overdo it, and you'll completely destroy that hard-earned trust score we just talked about. Let's move into Section 5, the viral honeymoon phase, unlocking massive channel momentum. So, when your trust score finally peaks and you land your very first viral hit, you enter what's called the honeymoon phase. And this is exactly where you want to be. In this high-trust state, YouTube is incredibly eager to push your content. They become totally willing to blast your uploads out to a huge number of people because you've proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you can be trusted to keep viewers on the app. Once your trust score is high enough here, YouTube basically just completely stops view gelling you. Every single upload gets pushed to a massive, wide audience right out of the gate. It's a game changer. 10 million. Once you hit this stage in the honeymoon phase, it really is just a matter of staying consistent until you hit those 10 million views you need to get monetized. But here is a major warning. When you reach this peak high trust point, you actually need to try harder than you ever have before. If you get lazy now, like if you start posting way less or if you consistently drop low-quality content, you will lose that trust. You might find yourself getting viewed way less often or only being pushed to your existing subscribers. And that will force you to restart the entire frustrating grind from square one. No thanks. Finally, Section 6, winning in your niche and standing out in a saturated market. Before you even start engineering your retention graphs or building up all that trust, you have to take a really hard look at the battlefield you're stepping onto. You absolutely need a niche that people actually want to watch. If you jump into an oversaturated niche where 10 other creators are doing the exact same thing as you, growth is going to be incredibly difficult. Why? Because in those crowded spaces, YouTube is always going to prioritize pushing the massive, established channels that already have huge trust scores over a newcomer like you. This is exactly why highly unique niches or really broad general animation channels often blow up overnight. They appeal to wide audiences without needing that deep, highly specific niche data, so they just bypass all that saturated competition entirely. Let's step back for a second and look at the whole picture. This timeline is literally your blueprint for algorithmic success. It starts with proving you're human, entering that 30,000 viewers seed test. Then, through daily uploads and killer retention, you build up trust. That trust triggers your first viral hit, catapulting you straight into the honeymoon phase and ultimately getting you monetized. When you map it all out like this, it's a highly logical, step-by-step ladder. The path to viral growth isn't magic, guys. It's right in front of you, mapped out clearly in data and trust signals. So the only question left for you to answer is, which view jail is holding you back right now? And exactly what are you going to change tomorrow to engineer perfect retention and finally force the algorithm to trust you?